The Wizards lose a nail biter to the Oklahoma City Thunder at home Wednesday night. With a game where turnovers and transition and paint defense was an issue, SGA went off. We're going to talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. So, Ed, tonight, who lost this game? Was it the players with the turnovers and paint defense, or was it West with his second team rotation?
I got to go with West, man. He even admitted, I'm reading from his press conference, from his post-game presser. He says it was a mistake for not putting more size on the ball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the Thunder's last position. They're saying Bradley Beal started on SGA and then Monte Morris had to switch. But when I watched it, honestly, I'll watch it back again. But it looked like Monte was in there to start on SGA. Now, honestly, I don't think Monte should have been in there on that last possession. I know Jordan Goodwin got injured, so he probably would have been there instead. Maybe you could put Rui in there. I thought Rui had one of his better games defensively. He had a couple deflections, but putting Monte on SGA or just putting him in the game in that situation was just that hurt the team. I mean, I had a bad feeling from the start because SGA was able to shoot the ball over him, and he had that advantage there, and that hurt the game. Also, Bradley Beal had played really well on SGA the possession before where he got to stop, and you don't reward him by putting him on there on SGA, or even Denny on SGA. Maybe Denny should have been in that situation on SGA. You know, he was doing a good job. Even though he was getting called for a lot of ticky-tack fouls, Denny was doing a good job on SGA as well. Also, the inbounds play, I thought it was too slow developing. It looked like it had no rhyme or reason or wasn't going anywhere. Now, Denny, did he make a good pass? I thought he definitely should have gave it to Kuz because Kuz was right in front of his face. But I do think Wes is responsible in that as well. The play just looked like it wasn't going anywhere at all. It just didn't look like a good play call on inbounds. And that's something that they struggled with last year. Last year, they had a couple 5-second violations. But last year, they struggled to get the ball in bounds too. So West doesn't get a lot of leeway or a lot of benefit of the doubt on that play call there. And you got a guy who's 7'3" and Kristaps Porzingis. You know, why not try to throw him an alley-oop? Why are we trying to get a backdoor or a fade cut for it? Looked like a football fade, wide receiver fade pass to Bradley Beal in the corner. It just looked like it had no chance of working out at all if the play was to go to Bradley Beal. So, yeah, I got to say, Wes admitted fault. He said it was his mistake as well. So not only do I think it, but Wes Unseld Jr. himself is saying that it was on him as well.
And I'm saying it as well, but I'm gonna put on both, man. It's the players. If you look at the players aspect of it, the turnovers were just a killer. They killed us on turnovers. The turnovers. If you look at points off turnovers, 26 for Oklahoma City, 26 points off turnovers. And, you know, the turnovers were terrible. Defense, man, that it's like a tale of two halves, really. That first half, the first unit, the defense was on point. They were up by 17 points. Now we're gonna get to the rotation in a minute. But, you know, as the game went on, you know, transition defense, again, was an issue. Paint defense, SGA did whatever he wanted. I mean, it wasn't just him. Dort had a night, you know, he was driving the lane. You know, the lane it was wide open tonight. They did whatever they wanted. SGA, I'm saying, wow. You know, we saw his name connected to our franchise a lot this offseason. Wow. I mean, I would sell everybody, man, to get him. I mean, because he's an all-star talent. He's an
all-star.
Craziness. So, you know, looking at Wes, the rotation was terrible. That second unit, they dropped it tonight. The second unit played like trash tonight. I know Rui, he added 14 points, and Rui, you know, his defense was better tonight. I saw a lot of defensive effort from him. Jordan Goodwin, before he went down with the injury, again, the effort was there with Jordan Goodwin. But other than that, very underwhelming. I mean, you saw a 17-point lead evaporate like it was nothing. And, you know, look, Oklahoma City, they're young and hungry, but they're no means a team that should do this. I mean, they did whatever they wanted, and it's just again they're a rebuilding team. I mean, their first round draft pick is on the bench, so I mean, those are two issues. If you look at West, his rotations had to get better. We don't know what's going to happen to Jordan Goodwin, how severe his injury was. I mean, if you saw a replay, it's definitely a knee injury. If you saw how his knee went back, so with him and DeLon being out, that's going to be a question mark. Who's going to run the second unit? But the West, I think both were responsible tonight for this very winnable loss.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought West, learned his lesson from running an all bench lineup like that out there. He was staggering the guys because he learned that from after the 3-on-1 start, where the bench would come in and we would lose leads. But yeah, losing that 17-point lead, that hurt, and it gave OKC a chance. But we really could have ran away with the game and put our foots on their neck. Now, I know we shot the ball really well from the 3-point line. Like, they were just hot. Rolling. Bradley Beal was hitting threes. Then he hit a couple threes to start off. Zingas hit some really deep threes that were almost close to the logo. So they were just hot from the 3-point line to start off. Excuse me. And then I think in the fourth quarter too, I think we settled for a couple early shot clock threes when we should have posted up Porzingis more, took our time a little bit, and try to get some better shots. But the bench just didn't show up tonight. Gafford, you brought it up before we started. He only got 5 minutes tonight. He had 2 points. Kispert had 2 points. Kispert had a couple turnovers where they took the ball from him. Barton, he didn't have one of his best games, 5 points. Rui played well. I thought Rui definitely could have got some more minutes. He had 14 points in 18 minutes, went 6 for 8 from the field. And Jordan Goodwin, he had some clutch rebounds. But, yeah, the bench just didn't pick it up tonight. And the starters, they played their butts off, but the threes just started not to fall. In that third quarter, we really struggled. We only put up about 19 points in that third quarter. But SGA, he was 20. We scored 20 points in the third quarter. The Thunder put up 35 points, and that's where the game was taken away by the Thunder, where they were able to really get into it and get into a rhythm. SGA 42 points. He got to the free throw line a lot tonight. There was just some things where I did think Denny had his hands up, and Jordan Goodwin was guarding him too. Bradley Beal was guarding him. We kind of switched. Rui guarded him a couple times too. But yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from Shea. But yeah, 12 for 17 from the free throw line. He got to the free throw line a lot. I thought, we definitely could have did a better job of keeping him out of the paint, but he's a tough cover. And we did try to double a little bit. And then he found some open shooters. He found Jalen Williams for open threes, some other guys for open threes. But yeah, it was a winnable game. And I thought Brad did a solid job tonight, except for the second and third quarter. I thought he was clutch. I know a lot of people were giving him, a tough time, saying that we're better without him. And we had that 4-game winning streak without him, but he wasn't the problem tonight. He wasn't the reason why we lost this game. So anybody saying that, he was not the reason why we lost. He was a big reason why we had a chance to win that game. He hit some clutch baskets towards the end in the clutch too. He had a couple tough step backs and hit some big free throws too.
Yeah, anybody saying that Bradley Beal was the reason, you need to stop. Just stop it. He was not the reason. He showed out. He had a good game tonight. Looking at the stats, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So good stat line from Brad coming back, coming out of protocol. KP, 27 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, like you said, the starting unit played well. 18 points with Kuz. Denny, 12 points. Monte, 11 points. So this starting unit showed out. It really did. Now, Monte clearly it showed tonight that he's going to have issues against taller point guards. That's just, he's going to have issues. Shea did whatever he wanted. We're going to keep saying it, but Shea exposed this backcourt to a certain degree. He really did. He shredded the backcourt. Incredible. Look, like you said, we shot real well tonight. But again, the issues it continues to be defense. But I mean, there's a few other things I wanted to touch base with too that could be the issues. One, playing down the opponents. We have to stop that. We have to stop playing down on opponents. We really do. Look, Oklahoma City came in, they shocked us. They punched us in the mouth. They came in, they were hungrier, they wanted it more. You got to play the whole game. You can't play one quarter. You got to play the whole game. Two, stop with maturity. Just like kids are very often a direct result of the parents. Players are representative of their coach. Maturity is an issue with this team. Maturity. We've seen a lot of maturity issues this season. One play that I'm gonna point out, Denny. I was gonna have it to play the game if we won the layup with a minute 05 left. I mean, that was a good. He drove the lane, he scored, and then he celebrates. And then while he's celebrating, he falls into Jordan Goodwin's leg.
Right.
I mean, you're celebrating. the game ain't won yet, man. Like,
Right.
what are you doing? You celebrating? And so what did they do? They drove and they scored. You can argue that's could be a play that could have cost the game right there. Stop feeling yourself. Look, you're playing down to Oklahoma City, and this is why people think we're a playing team. We're playing down to Oklahoma City. You need to kill everybody. You need to destroy everybody. You need to be trying to dismantle every single team you play. You keep playing around with Detroit, they're gonna smoke you. You keep playing around Oklahoma City, they're gonna smoke you. And this is why people think we're a playing team, because we're playing like a playing team. We had a 4-game winning streak, and that was cool. But look, like I said, Oklahoma City came in and they punched us in the mouth. Easy. But before we move on, tonight's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual. I wish it did. So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Lord, I know. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible everywhere, 100% online. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It can't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights on Locked On. Only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. So, like I said before the commercial break, very winnable game. Very winnable game.
And I'll chime in on Denny too. Yeah, you got to act like you did it before, like you've done it before. And I know, he struggles with layups. He's gotten better over this 4-game winning streak with finishing around the rim. But yeah, you got to act like you've done it before. And I know Wes is going to say something to Denny, because you got to get back on defense. You have to get back. The Thunder, they're a team that likes to push the pace. They're a young team. They can run. They run. They're young. They have young legs. They're athletic. SGA is athletic. Luke Dort's athletic. Jalen Williams is athletic. Wiggins is athletic. The young big man Jalen Williams is the other guy named Jalen Williams is athletic. So James Earl Robinson, all those guys are looking to run. They're all young. They're all under the age of 25, 26. All these draft picks that they've used, Sam Presti, all these first round picks, they're all looking to run. And I think they're a top 5 team in pace too. So I'm not going to say Denny's that play is the reason why we lost, but it's a big factor in why we lost that game. You got to get back on defense. And when you score, you have to get back. We struggle in transition defense. That's been a problem this whole season as well. So it is frustrating to see stuff like that. Now, what I will do, I will put some respect on the Thunder's name. And I know the narrative is that they're a tanking team, but they're actually not. They're 7-8. They're actually playing a lot better than what people thought. And they're 1 game out of the play-in in the Western Conference. So they are a good team. I do think we're the better team. Of course, we didn't show it tonight. But yeah, the Thunder are good. I got to give them their props. When you have SGA, when you have a guy like that who dominated the game, 42 points, 7 assists, 6 boards, got to the free throw line, shot 17 free throws, you got a chance to win the game every night. So the Thunder, they're better than what people think. But yes, we definitely should have taken advantage of this game and finished this game and won this game. When we were up 17, I think that's when we really needed to take over the game. That's how I felt.
Oh, I'm with you. 17 points up. You need to cruise. Especially in the first quarter. That first quarter, like I said, it's a tale of 4 different quarters, really, 2 different halves, because that first quarter, that starting unit looked solid. A lot of people were thinking or were concerned about how was Bradley Beal going to come in and kind of fit into this team, because obviously it's better run through Kuz or KP, and they did that. Look, what was it? 8-9 assists, Kuz tonight. Kuz was rocking early. He had 8 assists before the half. So, obviously it's better run through him. So Brad kind of came in, to his credit, he came in, he played his role of scorer, 3-point shot was hidden. He had some ISO plays, but he wouldn't hold on to the ball too long. No, nothing against Brad tonight. Brad played well. He came in and he did exactly what he should have done. But this was a winnable game. The turnovers, that's discipline. That's coaching. West has to stop being this stoic guy on the sideline, not saying nothing. You got to start being more vocal, man. I mean, this is just discipline. We're not very disciplined. Turnovers killed us. Turnovers alone killed us. Transition defense continues to be atrocious, and we can't guard the lane to save our life. I mean, SGA do. He's not really. If you look at his game, he's not a speedster. He's just methodical with his footwork, but he's not a fast point guard. He has length and he's taller, but he's still able to muscle his way through the lane. Because there's a lot of plays where I saw that SGA was muscling his way through the lane. Monte especially at the end, Monte shouldn't have been out there. He should not have been out there. But sliding to the second unit, that's a whole nother conversation. We touched on it earlier. Rui, again, continues to show up. He did add 14 points on the bench. Goodwin, like I said, the effort, the energy was there. But other than that, Barton has kind of been cold lately. Pittsburgh, 2 points. He's sliding from the start unit to the bench, 2 points. You did have some questionable calls. And Gaff, that's a conversation I want to have right now. Gafford, we were talking about him going into an extension next season, and we're playing homeboy 5 minutes. That's questionable. It doesn't look like he's in West. He's about to fall out of rotation. Because I looked at the stats, it wasn't a foul thing. And I know that KP was cooking, so that might have been a big reason why. But really, there's been a few times this season where you saw that Gaff didn't play a lot of minutes. So, that's the question right there. Then that's the question I'm gonna ask you real quick. Do you think that Gaff is kind of playing his way out of the rotation?
No, I thought he had some good games during the 4-game winning streak. I thought he contributed. I thought he finished around above the rim, and he's blocked some shots, and I thought he contributed in a couple of those wins. So I don't think he's playing his way out of the rotation. I mean, he didn't have one of the games where he was fumbling the ball and losing the ball out of bounds. So it wasn't one of those games. I guess West just wanted to go small out there. Gaff only had 6 minutes, like you said, no fouls. He shot the ball one time and made the shot. There was one time where he kind of fumbled the ball in the first half. Jordan Goodwin was kind of fumbling the ball too, and then he passed it to Gafford, and Gafford fumbled out of bounds. Monte Morris had a play where he fumbled the ball out of bounds too in the fourth quarter that hurt. But I will give props to Monte. Monte, he took a charge where they challenged it. That was an unsuccessful challenge. That was a huge charge by Monte. He did have a big steal, and he did hit a big 3 in transition. So this was one of Monte's better games. But like you said, we both said he definitely shouldn't have been out there to finish the game. So West just has to be better, having better rotations there and awareness of the situation and feel of the game. But yeah, Gafford, it's just questionable. It's just been an inconsistent year for him. And I do think some of that is point guard play. We just don't have a point guard that can really get him lobs and easy baskets where he's been the most effective. So, I mean, he only played 6 minutes, so it's just hard to say anything of what he did tonight. But I do think they're going to need him, especially with Porzingis. You kind of want to not play him too much. They're not low managing Porzingis, but you don't want Porzingis playing 45, 40 minutes a night. You want to give him a break. So they need a backup center. They need a backup for Porzingis. They need Gafford out there. They need a rim protector. They need a rim runner. They need a guy that can rebound and block shots. So Gafford's definitely needed. The contract, that is, it's in question, but, something that the Wizards are just going to have to deal with in the future. So, yeah, it was mysterious tonight with Daniel Gafford.
Yeah, I got to say, man, the minutes he's been playing, I think, is a sign. I think that, like you said, he is a lob threat who he can defend. But there's been times, this season where, bigger bigs have pretty much pushed him around. We say it all the time, man. The NBA is a perimeter-centric league now. If you can't shoot from behind the arc, especially at the 5 now, it's your dinosaur. So I don't know with that contract. If I was a betting man, which I am, but I can't bet on this. But if I'm a bet on it, they're shopping him because with that contract, do you personally feel like he's earned that? I mean, do you feel comfortable going into next season with Gaff and that contract? I don't. I'm just not comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, not if you're not gonna have a point guard that can get him the ball and lobs, then yeah, you're not maximizing his potential and maximizing his game. I mean, obviously he was at his best when Russ was here, So he needs a point guard that can get. Even last year when Ish Smith was here, when he was getting lobs, that's what he needs because he's not gonna. He's not scoring out of the post, like you said. He doesn't even really shoot mid-range jumpers. He's a lob guy. He's a rim runner. That's what he is. And we don't have point guards right now. Jordan Goodwin can do it from time to time. Monte Morris just hasn't been able to do it. Kuz can get to the rim and throw lobs. He threw a lob to Porzingis, but and we're going to talk about this in the mailbag because somebody asked about that. So we're definitely going to talk about tomorrow more in depth about Gaff. But he had a double against the Mavs. I'm looking at his game log. He had 11 and 10 against the Mavs. So that was a big part of our 4-game win streak. But yes, the minutes have been 14 against Utah, 17 against Memphis, and 6 tonight. So he's not getting a lot of minutes this year. And when Porzingis is dominating, yes, you do have to give Porzingis the bulk of the minutes. And Wes is just not playing KP and Gaff together. So it's either one or the other right now.
Yeah, I see that. But I think that's just my problem with Gaff. I like Gaff. I really do. I've said many times I like the acquisition from Chicago, but he tends to be one-dimensional. If lob's the only repertoire you have offensively in this game, now in the NBA, is that enough? If you look at KP, there's a reason they call him the unicorn. He can do it all. He can shoot mid-range, 3-point. He can't put the ball on the floor and make plays for himself. He's a unicorn. With Gaff, he's very limited. You want a guy who can be multi-dimensional, a guy who can play with anybody. I think this is a sign with Gaff. You've seen, and I like I said, I like his game. I think he is an integral part of this team, but this season is very, very pivotal when it comes to contracts because we've got a lot of guys who are on expiring contracts, and you can very well see a lot of guys flip-flop here and there. So I think right now a lot of people are playing for jobs, especially Monte. So I think with his contract, I think eventually we do get a starting point guard. And I see him going back to the bench, but there's a lot of question marks because, like I said, this starting unit performed well, but this bench is just very underwhelming. No energy. It just is a lot of maturity issues. It goes back to Wes. Wes has to really solidify himself in his head coaching position. It's second year, man. You really have to, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to make your presence felt. He's way too passive. He's not saying much. You like to see your star guys take these leadership roles, but it all starts with the coach. If you're not saying anything, the players are running the locker room, and it's just what it is. He's got to be more vocal. The maturity is an issue. I like Denny. Look, I know his fans going to let me have it, but I like Denny. Great player, but there's been maturity issues, and you see this with a lot of guys, especially coming from FIBA. You go from a league where you're dominant and you're the best player on the court to the NBA, where look, most guys on the court are really, really good. Is a clear different in competition, and I think that he kind of. He learned that a little bit. He came from FIBA and he came over to, to this season, and it's just, you get his maturity thing. I'm not going to say that play lost the game, but, you can look at it at many different angles. It didn't help. So,
yeah, it's a roller coaster ride with Denny. I think offensively through the 4-game winning streak, he definitely improved for sure. His defense has been consistent. He's been solid defensively. He hit 4 threes tonight, so I was impressed with that. But yeah, just has up plays, and he did make a big play too, where he got a stop on SGA, where he got the jump ball, and he won the jump ball, he won the tip ball, so he made some game-winning plays. But that little things like that, you got to clean up. But we'll talk more and get into the comments. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Sweatblock. Sweatblock is super, super clutch. I remember one time I went to a wedding. Was turning up, dancing, having a good time. But, of course, my shirt, it looked like a puddle in the armpits. I used regular deodorant, but the next time I used Sweatblock, the next time I went to a wedding, and I didn't have that problem. So shout out to Sweatblock for that. One customer review, Christopher, he wore a sweater every day to school, even in the hot Texas summers, to try and hide his sweat. He can now wear any shirt without sweating thanks to Sweatblock. Sweatblock wipes were invented by a doctor, and they're guaranteed to work, or you don't pay. They call it the Sweatblock Dry Shirt Guarantee. If Sweatblock doesn't keep you dry, you get your money back. If you or someone you love is experiencing embarrassing sweat or odor, try Sweatblock risk-free today. Save 20% with promo code Locked On at sweatblock.com. Also available on Amazon. All right. So, I mean, like you said about bringing people back, Wes, it's a big year for him. The honeymoon is over, so he has to make the better decisions with the rotations. And once again, like I said, he said it himself. You just can't have Monte. I know Monte's his guy with Denver. They have a great relationship, but you got to go with the best matchups. You just have to. You got to put either Rui out there or somebody else with some length, some height and wingspan on these guys. SGA is 6'4", 6'5". Dort is 6'5". Who else do they have out there? James Earl Robinson. All these guys are 6'5". Jalen Williams, I think he was in there at the end of the game. He's 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". So the game is different now. There's guys who are 6'8", 6'9", playing at the guard spot, playing at the point guard spot, wings that can shoot and get to the basket. So that was just a blunder by Wes and a blooper by him. And he's got to clean that up. I think he will improve. He's still learning. But yeah, he just had in the inbounds plays, he has to get better with that. Inbounds plays are a problem. Like I said, they were a problem last year. There was a couple 5-second violations that we had. And then I don't know if you do want Denny in there throwing a ball in on the inbounds pass. And you got a guy who's 7 for 3 in Porzingis. You don't try to draw up a lob or something like that, or backdoor lob. Just questionable decisions down the stretch. And then the players aren't innocent too. Like you said, the turnovers, settling for threes. Porzingis missed some big free throws down the stretch too. He was 7 for 9 from the free throw line, and the 2 free throws that he misses, Porzingis was 5 for 6 from the free throw line. I could have sworn he missed 2. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Grizzlies game because I was looking at the stats for Gaff in the past couple games. But Porzingis, he was 7 for 9 from the free throw line, and the 2 free throws that he misses were some big free throws that we needed down the stretch. And then Kuzma, he's got to clean up the carrying. They called carries on him throughout the game and some travels. So he has to work on it. And also Denny, he had a wide open 3 at one point. He traveled. They called a travel on him. When he had a wide open 3, you just got to shoot it. You hurt the team by not shooting threes. And Kuzma had 7 turnovers tonight, so he's got to clean that. I know he had 9 assists, but he had 7 turnovers as well. So he's got to clean that up. He did have a double-double with 18 and 10, but he's just got to clean that up. So we'll get to a couple. We'll probably read 5 comments and then wrap it up here. Pink Difference says, sold by the refs, this league is totally fixed. I'm not going to blame it on the refs, but they definitely had a kind whistle for SGA for sure. Anytime he was touched, they definitely were ready to blow the whistle. SGA is a great player. I'm not going to take anything away from him. And, when you're a star, you get those calls. He's starting to become a star. He's starting to get recognized in this league, and refs are really giving him respect for sure.
Yeah, they gave him a whole lot of respect tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anytime you even breathed on him, it was a foul. So yeah, I'm not gonna blame the refs. It was winnable. It's just,
Right. Next comment is by Phil Wilson. And then Brandon, if you have any comments you want to bring up, definitely bring them up.
yes,
He says West lost this game, all bench lineup, and Monte Morris on SGA with the game on the line is inexcusable. The Wizards won't fire him, so get him a quality assistant, ideally an ex-head coach that can guide him. Brandon, what's your thoughts on that comment?
Well, I mean, it's not too far off. His rotations, alone didn't lose the game, but they weren't good. A lot of questionable decisions by him. He's got to up his game. And I said it before, he's got to be more vocal at the head coach. He's got to be more vocal. He can't be, have the stoic look to him on the sidelines. He's got to start digging into some of these players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the all bench lineup. You got to stagger the starters in there. That's inexcusable to lose a 17-point lead like that. He put the starters back in, and guess what? We went up by 10 points. So that just shows you what the rotations should really, really be.
See, Jameer Wallace. This isn't Monte's fault, but he should not be guarding SGA at the end of the game. Completely agree. He was just Monte should not be guarding SGA because it's the height alone. Just SGA is just, and that was one of the concerns me and you both had going into the season was Monte. How does he respond playing taller guards? It showed tonight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. Andy Man says Shea is nice. I really thought the Bill step back sealed it. Shot just outclutched him. Also, the final inbound was terrible. Yeah, that was a big shot by Bill, man. A step back on Lou Dort. Lou Dort is a heck of a defender. He makes it really tough to score, and Brad made some tough shots. And I got to give him his credit. He got to the free throw line. He made some tough step backs, and he played within the offense. He didn't force a lot of shots, Of course, he had some isolation buckets, but that's just what they needed. 5 for 5 from the free throw line, so 6 assists, and he only had 1 turnover. And tonight we didn't see a lot of point Bradley Beal. That's what I love. That's what I love from West. So I'll give West credit on that. Running the offense through Kuz, running the offense through Porzingis. I thought they didn't try to force it to Bill, and Bill kind of fit in where he could get in, and that's why they did so well in that first quarter, because they were just moving the ball, man. I know they got a lot of assists tonight. Brandon, I think you already brought up the assists. They had 32 assists. I mean, you look at the numbers, and it's like 32 assists. You shoot that high from the three. You just look at the box score. You're like, oh, yeah, they won this game. But, you watch the game, obviously, and see they made some losing plays at the end of the game, the inbounds pass and just the defensive calls by West. And that's just how you lose ball games. So I thought Bradley Beal came in and played a good game.
Bradley Beal played a great game. Coming back from protocol, his rhythm was on point. His shot was on point. 25 points, not playing, what was it, 5 games? He came in and we said the episode before, we said the best case scenario for this offense going forward is running it through Kuz and Brad coming in and just being that scorer. He did that. He came in and he was that scorer. So that's what I want to see with this offense going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Rationale said, why didn't they double SGA at the end? They did double one time, and then he found an open shooter. Andy Man says, where was Bill in the second and third quarter? That is true. Yeah, he wasn't anywhere to be found in the second, third quarter. So we do need him to play a complete game. Where Shea played a complete game, we need Brad to play a complete game. So that is a question. That's a good question. That is a good question. Michael Corpus, and then you can pick the next one, Brandon. That will probably be the last one for tonight.
Yes,
we just want to thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well. Michael Corpus says Denny should be in the Shaqtin' a Fool nomination. Him flexing after tying the game with a layup, but failed to get back on defense. And then OKC making a transition layup. It wasn't a layup; it was a dunk. But regardless, 2 points is 2 points. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to blame the game on one play, but yeah, that's something they're going to look at the film and just say, hey, you got to get back up as quick as possible. I want you to get back up and sprint like your life is depending on it to get back on defense.
Yeah, again, it's not all on Denny. It was a young mistake. He was – and it's crazy because, like I said, if we would have won the game, that would have been to play the game, that drive to the lane for Denny, because it was a good drive. That's what you wanted to see from Denny.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great play. His confidence, I'll say this, his jump shot is getting better. His jumper is getting better. You're seeing improvement starting to come to fruition. You're seeing him drive a lot more. The confidence is coming. So, no, while I am hard on him this episode, I'm very intrigued to see how he evolves within the next 10 to 15 games, because I do see him playing better. He's evolving this season. So,
right. And then, you can pick the last one.
Oh, gotcha. Got it right here. Time Traveler. Sound like an 80s rock band. They should put KP and Gafford together, make it more difficult for our opponents to play. Well, that was a lineup we talked about, but I'll say this. While I would like to see them in taller lineups, Gaff's got to add some pounds. He's got to add about 5 to 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason, because very often than not, a lot of bigs shove him around. And if we go against Cleveland, can you see Gafford going with Jared Allen? I don't know. Jared Allen's a beast. So I think going forward, if he's here long term, he needs to add some muscle. But again, I'm very intrigued to see KP and Gafford play together. I think a taller lineup, especially if you put Kuz at the 3, that could be a productive lineup.
Yeah, I wanted to see a little bit more of Denny Rue and Kuz out there together. I thought they did a good job while Bill was out. But yeah, I do want to see KP and Gaff play together. I know it could be tough defensively because I know the Thunder are a small team, but sometimes you got to impose your will. I didn't think there was anybody out there that could really guard Porzingis out there in the post, and Porzingis was dominating. I thought they should have gave him some more post touches tonight too. So yeah, that's something that Wes has to look at and try that lineup as well. You got to try it at least once.
Absolutely. But let's see. You got one more?
Let's see here. This is not on a Diddy. Somebody said Wes is a nice guy. There's Omer says Denny held SGA to 12 points in the first half. Ref gave him everything. It's like, yeah. So I mean, we'll just pick it up tomorrow. It's a tough loss. I thought they played hard, but they just got to finish ball game. So we'll wrap it up right here. We just want to thank you guys for listening and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today, where they talk about the NBA and other sports all day on YouTube or wherever you get a podcast as well. All right, thank you guys. Just want to make sure you guys subscribe and to Locked On Wizards. We're almost at 3K subscribers. So make sure you guys check us out, and hopefully we can get back in the win column tomorrow. We're going to do a mailbag episode and pick up where we left off. If you do have any more mailbag questions, you definitely can comment below on the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hell to the Wizards and hell to the Commanders. Big win on Monday night. All right, you guys. Peace.